Chosen one, you've been asking, praying, hoping for movement, for something to finally shift, to open, to arrive. And when it doesn't happen in your timing, your first instinct is to think something is wrong, that you are being delayed, overlooked, or somehow left behind. But what if the waiting is not rejection? What if it is mercy? Because you are not just waiting for something to happen, something is waiting for you to become ready for it. And that changes everything. Chosen one, imagine receiving everything you've been asking for right now, today, without any further preparation. The opportunity, the responsibility, the visibility, the pressure that comes with it. Would it truly elevate you? Or would it expose parts of you that are not yet stable? This is the question most people avoid, because we focus on receiving, but not on sustaining. Heaven does not just give based on desire. It gives based on capacity. Not because you are being judged, but because you are being protected. Because what you are asking for is not small. It carries weight. It carries responsibility. It carries consequences if mishandled. And if it arrives too early, it does not bless you. It overwhelms you. Chosen one, the waiting room is not empty. It is active. It is intentional. It is a space where your foundation is being strengthened before anything is built on top of it. Because if the foundation is weak, the structure cannot hold. So instead of seeing this season as stagnation, you must begin to see it as preparation. There are things being developed in you that cannot be rushed. Patience, stability, emotional control, discernment, the ability to carry something bigger than your current life without losing yourself in it. These things are not visible, but they're essential, because when the breakthrough comes, it will not just test your abilities, it will test your character. It will expose how you respond under pressure, how you handle influence, how you manage what you've been given. And if that foundation is not solid, everything collapses. Chosen one, you are not being delayed. You are being fortified. The waiting is not punishment. It is protection. Because what is coming next in your life is not just about receiving more. It is about becoming someone who can hold it. Chosen one, now you must understand why preparation matters so deeply. Because what you are asking for does not just add to your life. It amplifies it. Power, influence, visibility, responsibility. None of these create new character. They reveal what is already there. They magnify your foundation, not fix it. And that is where many people misunderstand the breakthrough they are chasing. They believe that when they finally receive more recognition, more success, more responsibility, it will somehow complete them. That it will stabilize their emotions, silence their insecurities, and finally make everything feel secure. But that is not what happens. Chosen one, whatever is unresolved within you right now, will only become louder when your life expands. If there is insecurity, it will grow. If there is fear, it will intensify. If there is a need for validation, it will multiply. Because power does not heal instability. It exposes it. That is why some people rise quickly and collapse just as fast. Not because they weren't capable, but because they weren't prepared internally for what they received externally. They built something, but they couldn't hold it. Chosen one, this is why your foundation matters more than your opportunity. Because your foundation determines whether what you receive becomes a blessing or a burden. If your identity is not stable, influence will confuse you. If your emotions are not grounded, pressure will overwhelm you. If your sense of self depends on external validation, visibility will trap you in a cycle of needing more just to feel enough. And suddenly, what you prayed for becomes something you struggle to carry. That is not elevation. That is exposure. Chosen one, this is why nothing is being rushed in your life right now. Because it is not just about giving you more, it is about strengthening what will hold it. Your mindset, your discipline, your emotional control, your ability to stay grounded when everything around you expands. Because when your foundation is solid, expansion becomes natural. It does not destabilize you. It does not overwhelm you. It flows through you because you have the capacity to manage it. So instead of focusing only on what you want to receive, begin asking yourself what you need to stabilize. What triggers you too easily? What insecurity still controls your reactions? What part of you depends too heavily on external outcomes to feel secure? Because those are the areas that will be magnified. Chosen one, power is not the goal. Stability is. Because when you are stable, you can carry anything that comes into your life. Chosen one, now we go deeper. Because before anything new can be poured into your life, something old must be removed from it. And this is where most people resist, not because they don't want growth, but because they don't want to confront what they've been carrying. You want expansion, but you haven't released what is weighing you down. You want clarity, but your mind is still crowded with unresolved thoughts. You want peace, but you are still holding on to things that disturb it. And without realizing it, you are trying to build something new on top of something that has not been cleared. That is internal clutter. It's not always obvious. It's not always loud. Sometimes it hides in the background as old resentment you never fully processed, conversations that ended but still replay in your mind, moments that hurt you but were never properly released. And beyond that, it lives in your habits, in the patterns you formed during survival, in the ways you react, think, and respond based on who you used to be. Chosen one, this is what limits your capacity. Not lack of opportunity, but lack of space. Because everything you hold on to internally takes energy. Every unresolved emotion, every grudge, every pattern that no longer serves you, it all occupies space that was meant for something new. And here is the truth most people avoid. You cannot receive clearly when you are already full. Not full of peace, but full of residue. That is why this season feels uncomfortable. Because you are not just waiting, you are being asked to release. To look at what you've been carrying, and finally decide what no longer deserves a place within you. Not by force, not by denial, but by awareness. Forgiveness becomes necessary here. Not because others suddenly deserve it, but because you deserve to be free from what they left behind. Holding on to pain does not protect you. It keeps you connected to what hurt you. And as long as that connection remains, it influences how you see, how you feel, and how you respond. Letting go becomes necessary. Not because the past didn't matter, but because it cannot follow you into where you are going. What once shaped you cannot continue to define you if you are truly moving forward. And discipline becomes necessary, because not everything you carry is emotional. Some of it is behavioral. Habits that once helped you survive now limit how you grow. Patterns of thinking that once made sense now keep you stuck in cycles you've already outgrown. Chosen one, this is the work that no one sees. The quiet decisions, the internal shifts, the moments where you choose to release instead of hold, to respond differently instead of reacting automatically, to break patterns instead of repeating them. And every time you do that, you create space. Space for clarity to settle. Space for peace to exist without interruption. Space for something new to enter your life without being distorted by what came before it. Because what is coming next does not just require desire, it requires capacity. And capacity is not built by adding more. It is built by clearing what no longer belongs. So be honest with yourself. What are you still holding on to that is no longer aligned with who you are becoming? What thought, what emotion, what pattern still has control over your reactions? Because what you refuse to face, you cannot release. But once you do, everything begins to shift. Your energy feels lighter, your mind becomes clearer, your presence becomes more grounded. And now, instead of carrying your past into every moment, you finally have space to receive what is meant for your future. Chosen one, now that you are clearing what no longer belongs, you must strengthen what remains. Because it is not enough to release the weight. You must also become stable enough to carry what is coming next. And that stability is emotional resilience. Not the ability to avoid difficulty, but the ability to remain grounded within it. Because right now, one of the biggest leaks in your container is not external circumstances. It is how quickly your internal state gets disrupted. Small things shift your mood. Minor situations pull your focus. Unexpected reactions from others affect your energy more than they should. And it seems small, but it is not. Chosen one, if minor irritations can destabilize you, major responsibility will overwhelm you. This is why this phase matters. Because emotional resilience is not built in moments of pressure. It is built in moments that seem insignificant. The small inconveniences, the slight frustrations, the everyday situations where you are given a choice, react, or remain centered. And most people react automatically. Someone says something wrong, they respond instantly. Something doesn't go as planned, frustration rises immediately. A situation feels unfair, emotions take control. And in those moments, they lose energy. Not because of what happened, but because of how they responded to it. Chosen one, every reaction costs you something. Your peace, your clarity, your control. And when that becomes a pattern, your internal state becomes unstable, easily influenced, easily shifted, easily drained. And that instability makes it impossible to hold something greater without being shaken by it. This is why resilience must be built now. Not when life gets bigger, but while it is still manageable. Because resilience is not about suppressing your emotions. It is about mastering your response to them. It is about feeling fully, without being controlled by what you feel. That is power. So when something irritates you, pause. When something triggers you, observe. When something disrupts your mood, don't immediately react. Create space. Because in that space, you regain control. Chosen one, the goal is not to become emotionless. The goal is to become steady. To reach a place where your internal state is not constantly at the mercy of external situations. Where you can experience discomfort without losing your center. Because when you are steady, everything changes. You think more clearly. You respond more intentionally. You conserve energy instead of wasting it. And most importantly, you become someone who can handle more. Because what is coming into your life will not always be easy. It will bring pressure, expectations, moments where things don't go as planned. And if you cannot remain grounded in small disruptions, those larger moments will shake you. Chosen one, resilience is built in silence. In unnoticed moments. In the decisions no one sees. Every time you choose not to react immediately, you strengthen your control. Every time you stay grounded when something tries to pull you out of alignment, you reinforce your stability. And over time, that becomes who you are. Not easily shaken, not easily drained, but steady. And that steadiness is what allows you to hold what you've been asking for. Chosen one, now we step into a truth that most people overlook. Not because it is hidden, but because it feels too small to matter. And that truth is this. What you do when no one is watching is what determines what you can handle when everyone is. You are not being prepared in the spotlight. You are being prepared in the shadows. And that is where faithfulness is tested. Because right now, the tasks in front of you may feel ordinary, repetitive, unnoticed. There is no applause, no recognition, no immediate reward that tells you, this is leading somewhere. And because of that, it becomes easy to treat this phase casually, to delay, to cut corners, to give partial effort because it doesn't seem significant. But that is where the mistake happens. Chosen one, small things are never just small things. They are indicators. Indicators of your discipline, your consistency, your integrity when no one is there to validate you. Because the way you handle what feels insignificant now is the exact same way you will handle what feels important later. That does not change with success. It is revealed by it. So if you cannot remain consistent in quiet moments, you will not suddenly become consistent under pressure. If you cannot stay focused when no one is watching, you will not suddenly develop focus when everything is demanding your attention. Because elevation does not create discipline. It exposes it. Chosen one, faithfulness in the shadows is not about perfection. It is about intention. It is about showing up fully, even when it feels like it doesn't matter. It is about treating what is in front of you right now as preparation, not as something to get through quickly so you can reach something better. Because this is the preparation. Every small task you complete with care builds capacity. Every moment you choose consistency over convenience builds discipline. Every time you follow through when it would be easier not to builds trust within yourself. And that trust is everything. Because when bigger responsibility comes, you won't rely on motivation. you will rely on what you've already practiced. Chosen one, the shadows are where your foundation is proven. No pressure, no audience, just you and your willingness to do what needs to be done without needing recognition for it. And this is where many people fall short. Not because they lack ability, but because they underestimate the importance of this phase. They rush through it. They treat it like a waiting period instead of a training ground. But you are not doing that anymore. Because now you understand. Nothing here is random. Nothing here is wasted. Everything you are doing right now is building the version of you that will be able to hold what is coming. So don't overlook the small things. Don't rush past the quiet moments. Don't wait for visibility to take yourself seriously, because the way you move in the shadows is exactly what determines how you will stand in the light. Chosen one, now we bring everything into something practical. Because preparation is not just a mindset, it is something you live daily. And the way you live it is through routine. Not rigid, not overwhelming, but intentional. Because right now, your life is being shaped in the small, repeated actions you take every single day. And most people underestimate this, because routine does not feel powerful. It feels ordinary. It feels like something you can skip, adjust, or delay without consequence. But that is not true. Chosen one, routine is what stabilizes you when life expands. It is what keeps you grounded when more responsibility enters your world. It is what holds you steady when everything around you begins to move faster. Without it, you drift. You become reactive instead of intentional. You lose structure. You depend on mood, on motivation, on how you feel in the moment. And that makes you inconsistent. And inconsistency cannot hold expansion. So this is where you shift. You begin to build simple anchors into your day. Not complicated systems. Not something you cannot maintain. Just consistent actions that reconnect you to yourself. Moments where you pause instead of rushing. Moments where you reflect instead of reacting. Moments where you realign instead of drifting. Because those moments create stability. Chosen one, your routine does not need to look impressive. It needs to be consistent. It needs to support the version of you that you are becoming. And that means choosing actions that bring clarity, not noise. You start your day with intention, not distraction. You give yourself space to think, instead of immediately consuming everything around you. You check in with your state, instead of ignoring it. And these small decisions begin to build something powerful. A grounded presence, a steady mind, a controlled energy that is not easily pulled in different directions. Because when your routine is aligned, your life becomes aligned. Not perfectly, but consistently. Chosen one, this is how you prepare for more. Not by waiting for a big moment to change everything, but by becoming someone who is already stable in the small moments. Because when more comes, it will not ask you to start from the beginning. It will expect you to already have structure. And if that structure is missing, you will feel overwhelmed. But if it is there, you will feel ready. So don't underestimate what feels simple. Don't ignore what feels repetitive. Don't wait for something external to force you into discipline. Build it now, quietly, consistently, because your routine is not just something you do. It is what prepares you to hold everything you've been asking for. Chosen one, now we arrive at the truth you've been preparing to receive. Not something loud, not something dramatic, but something certain. You are closer than you think. Not because something external is about to suddenly appear, but because internally, you are becoming someone who can finally hold it. All the waiting, the clearing, the discipline, the quiet consistency, none of it was wasted. Every moment you chose growth over comfort. Every time you held your ground instead of reacting. Every small decision no one saw. It has been building something within you. And now, that foundation is stronger. Chosen one, the shift you've been asking for does not arrive randomly. It arrives when the container is ready. When your mindset is stable, your emotions are grounded, your habits are aligned. Then what you've been waiting for no longer feels overwhelming. It fits. That is how you know. Because what once would have broken you will now build you. What once would have confused you will now make sense. What once would have felt like pressure will now feel like purpose. Chosen one, You are not the same person who started this journey. And that means what is coming into your life next will not meet the old version of you. It will meet who you are now. Prepared, grounded, ready. So don't doubt this phase. Don't question whether it was worth it. Don't look at the quiet and assume nothing is happening. Everything is happening. And when it arrives, you will not need to rush. You will not need to force. You will not need to struggle to hold it together. Because you have already done the work. Chosen one, you are ready for the shift.